So, I'm literally already in the midst of recording 3 videos at once, but I had to talk about this topic. So, apparently, Euphoria Season 3 is supposed to have a 5-year time jump, and I think this is something we have to talk about and discuss because the problem with Euphoria is it already takes 2 to 3 years to get a new season, to get unresolved storylines from the past season to see what's going to happen, and I need to dive into all my questions and problems I have with this 5 year supposedly time jump that's supposed to be for season 3 of Euphoria. So let's get into it. But before that, I want you guys to put down below in the comments what you think the season 3 time jump would be like, and leave a like, comment, subscribe as well. Really helps with the channel. And I make a lot of videos on all types of popular shows, teen dramas, crime dramas, etc. So like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy. Now, my first problem with the Euphoria time jump, alleged time jump, is it feels way too early. Time jumps are usually used in teen dramas when the storylines are fulfilled or it's starting to get a bit stale and they're trying to shake things up, which I think Euphoria has neither of those problems. First of all, it's only 2 seasons and we only get 8 to 10 episodes. I believe it's 8. It might be 10 episodes per season. So it's not like they're out of storylines, they're out of plot points, and we still have a lot of unanswered questions from the end of season 2. And I have problems with season 2 in its own right, but this is about the time jump. We still have so many storylines that aren't figured out that I don't feel a time jump is necessary. Like, what do they need a time jump for? The storylines aren't really stale, and we don't have everything resolved or fulfilled. Literally, think about it. At the end of season 2, we still have a lot of unresolved storylines and plot points. And spoilers right here. If you haven't finished or watched Euphoria season 2, spoilers coming. Skip ahead probably like a full minute. I'll try to put the time on the screen, but spoilers incoming. So at the end of season 2, we had Ashtray die. We had Fez go to jail or get caught by the Fez. We had Lexi and her play. We never seen the aftermath of that. We had Maddie and Cassie fight. We had Rue owing a drug dealer money and also finally about to become clean, but she's been doing that for both seasons. Like, there's so many unresolved plot points. Nate finally sent his dad to jail, I believe, at the end of season 2. So all these storylines are going on with so much more can happen within these storylines, and they're just gonna skip over all this. Now, if they're gonna do it in a flashback type thing, like back and forth, it maybe could work, but I still think it's way too soon to be doing a time jump. So my first problem is definitely that their storylines aren't fulfilled and the story isn't necessarily stale to be doing a time jump, especially as early as your 3rd season, unless they're only expecting this story to go 4, maybe 5 seasons max, which at this rate, they're doing a new season every 2 to 3 years. I wouldn't be surprised if season 3 or season 4 was the final seasons, because these actors, they're only doing the time jump because they're aging out of the teenage range. Like, they're far and away not teenagers, and it's gonna start to get noticeable. So I wouldn't be surprised if season 3 or season 4 was the last and final season. Another problem I have with time jumps is even when they happen within teen dramas, they're never done correct. They're even boring, overcomplicated, doesn't make sense, doesn't help, doesn't change anything up, just isn't necessary. Like, I can't really think of too many teen dramas where the time jump actually helped. Pretty Little Liars time jump, horrible. Riverdale time jump, terrible. Like, literally the only teen drama time jump, in my opinion, that I believe has been done well or even amazingly is from One Tree Hill. And if you watch that show and the prior seasons leading up to that time jump, going into the time jump, everything we thought wanted to see happen happened, and they elevated it, even made it the storylines even better. That was the only time jump, in my opinion, in any teen drama that was successful thus far. But like I said, most of One Tree Hill storylines were finished. They graduated high school, they won the championship. Dan went to jail for what he did. The parents were aging out of the show. They could introduce new cast with the time jump. Every storyline was pretty much wrapped up. All the relationships, Nathan and Haley had their baby, Brooke and Chase, we had Lucas and Peyton finally together. All the storylines were pretty much wrapped up. So the time jump at that happened at the perfect moment, so to say. And for most shows, they don't really do that. So what are they gonna do for Euphoria? So imagine this is the problem. Like I said, there's already unresolved storylines, and time jumps don't really work. So what? Let's say they jump forward 5 years and Rue is clean now. We've been building and working with Rue since season 1 to watch her on her journey to be clean, be the person she wants to be, to finally change. If they jump forward 5 years and she's clean, it feels like we were slided out of the events that led up to that. Even if they do the flashbacks, it won't be the same. It won't hit as hard. Because you see, with One Tree Hill's time jump, it was the end of their graduation. They were celebrating high school, the ending of it. So a time jump in its own right made sense. Plus, it was 4 full seasons of them in high school. They developed all of that from like their sophomore, junior year, all the way throughout their senior year. And they had enough seasons, episodes, and events where enough happened to do a time jump. And it was still felt like we grew with the characters. Euphoria hasn't done that. So if they do this time jump and all these characters are in different phases of their life, it feels like we lost their journey of how they got there, because we don't get enough of these characters as is. Because like I said, we only get a new season every 2 to 3 years. So you could see how the problems with this time jump start to pile up. So we aren't going to get Rue's journey to recovery. We're not going to see Fez's prison or his grief about Ashtray. We're not going to see Lexi's aftermath of her play. We're not going to get to see any of this. And that's where the problem comes in. It feels like we're missing. It's basically like skipping season 3 and going to season 4. It feels like it's was about to happen, and I don't understand why. And that's why I want to jump into my third part and try to explain, I think, why they're doing it. But back to what I was saying, time jumps aren't, I wouldn't say popular, because it's definitely used. I would even say overused in a lot of TV shows. They aren't particularly loved, I guess, in the sense of TV shows, because to an extent they can never fully give you everything you want and need to justify that time jump. It just never happens, if rarely. Like I said, One Tree Hill is one of the few examples I could point out where it actually worked. So with the unfulfilled storylines I talked about in the first part, and now time jumps just in general don't be that good, I don't see why they're doing this. But this is the part where I try to explain why, and I think it's just because they wrote themselves into a corner. Because think about it like this. Like I said, seasons are already 2 to 3 years apart. They're going to grow up their teenage years, blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't really matter, because they don't really cast teenagers for these teen dramas anyway. So they're going to grow out of age, but of course they don't really care about that. So what else could be the problem? They wrote themselves into a corner. Now let me explain. The consequences for their writing at the end of season 2, they want it all dissolved with this time skip so they could actually have a storyline. Because if you think about it, with Fez in jail, that kind of puts a hold on the Fez Lexi storyline. Can't really write about that. Ashtray is dead, etc. Nate sent his dad to jail. That put a hold on that storyline. Not really much there. He's not really with Maddie or Cassie anymore. They kind of made up their relationship, sorta, at the end of season 2. Not really much going on with that storyline either. And then the character or the actor that played the character, Kat, she's leaving the show. She's not coming back. So there's a whole removal of a piece off the board as well. Plus, with the Rue owing the lady money and drugs, etc., they're kind of in a corner. How, honestly, be realistic, how does she pay that off or get that off her tab? She can't really do that. So I feel like they're only doing this time jump because he backed himself in a corner with this type of writing. Yes, we want the aftermath of Lexi play. We want to see how Rue swindles her way out of paying this drug dealer. We want to see Fez's reaction to Ashtray, his grief, his prison sentence, etc. But in totality, I don't know how that makes up a full season and how all of the characters will play off one another, because Rue can't really converse with Fez on the same level, just go to his house how she used to, etc. Like I said, puts her heart on Lexi and Fez. It's just not enough moving pieces to write the next season if it takes place where it left off. And I think, like I said, he put himself in a corner, and a time jump is one of the only ways he could get out. But this, in my opinion, makes the time jump even more dangerous, because if you're only doing this so you have a way out of the tight spot you put yourself in, you can make the story even worse. And like I said, I had my own problems with season 2 and its story. So this time jump isn't helping my confidence of season 3 legitimately bouncing back and still being one of the best teen dramas, could go down as one of the best teen dramas ever. It's definitely not helping the case with this time jump, because I don't see where they go from here if they do jump forward ahead 5 years like they're allegedly saying. And at that point, is it not classified as a teen drama no more? Like, One Tree Hill did do the time jump in season 5 all the way to the ending, I think 8-9, season 9 or whatever. And Riverdale did it, they were adults. PLL did it, Pretty Little Liars did it, they were adults. So like, are these even still teen dramas anymore? And I guess it's a bit cool because they'll be in the age range of 20 to 23, 24-ish, which is my age, which would be cool to see a show around that time, see how it compares to real life or whatever. But I'm not optimistic about how they go about it, especially if you could write yourself in a corner like you did in season 2. What makes you think you can't fuck up season 3 with a whole big plot line and storyline of something like a time jump? You could easily mess up events and it just not be as good or as it once was. Like, it could easily happen with something like a time jump. So we have the 3 problems of time jumps just usually aren't good. The storylines weren't fulfilled and weren't necessarily stale to warrant a time jump, and the feeling that they're only doing a time jump because the writer backed himself into a corner, that leads me to believe this would not be executed the right way. And I really hope it is, and I enjoy season 3 of Euphoria, especially because we haven't really talked about it in a while. And on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, the week play-by-plays of Euphoria when it was coming out was exciting and awesome. So I hope that still lasts. So it was just good to talk about Euphoria again and have something to converse about. But let me know in the comments what you think about this time jump, what you think could happen. Do you like it, hate it? Just leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.